Have you ever wondered how long it really takes to hand knit a sweater? Me too. So in this video, we're going to find out together. I'm going to video myself knitting a sweater from start to finish over the next few days or weeks, however long it takes. And at the same time, I'm going to be using my phone to time myself whenever I'm working on this project. So we will know down to the second exactly how long it takes me to knit a sweater. So I'm by no means a fast knitter. In fact, I would consider myself quite a slow and steady knitter. So hopefully this will give you a realistic idea of the time invested when you're knitting your own sweater. So before we jump into the project, I should probably introduce myself in case this is the first time you've made it to my channel. So my name's Em, also known as Meema Makes when I create content online. I'm a crochet designer and a content creator. On this channel, I usually create crochet tutorials and craft vlogs. This is one of those craft vlogs. In fact, this is my first ever dedicated knitting vlog, so I'm really excited to jump into this project. So the pattern that I've chosen for this project is the Doppio sweater by, and I apologise if I butcher the pronunciation of this name, Sung Hee Hong, and it is a size inclusive top down stockinette raglan sweater. And it seems to have some lovely shaping across the shoulders to get a really good close fit. It's a compound raglan, so that means that we increase at different rates across the yoke, so across the shoulder part of the sweater, so that it just has that better fit. The reason why I chose this sweater was because it's knit on quite a large gauge, so it calls for 6mm needles and 15 stitches to 10 centimeters. So that works out at about an Aran to a chunky weight yarn gauge, but it recommends actually holding either a strand of DK with a strand of lace or 2 strands of fingering or 4-ply weight, depending on what country you're from. So kind of like a fingering sock weight yarn with a strand of lace. And I think I'm going to go for that option as well. I've got some lovely yarn in my stash that I've swatched up ready to show you. So we'll start with the 2 shades of fingering weight yarn that I've chosen. So the first one, let's start with the really colourful one that I've chosen actually. So this is the first yarn that I've chosen here. So this is a hand-dyed sock weight yarn from Curated Yarn Co. I will link everything I'm using in this video down in the description. And it is a 75% merino, 25% nylon, 425 meters per 100 grams. So it's quite a standard base that is used quite a lot in hand-dyed yarn. And I'm just going to take the label off so you can see the colours. So the name of the colourway is Sanderson Sisters, so it's actually inspired by the 3 witches that are sisters in the film Hocus Pocus, which is one of my favourite films. So I thought I would really like this, so I bought myself a sweaters quantity. I've got 3 skeins of each of these colours, actually the 3 that I'm using, 3 skeins of this, not intending to use this in the Doppio, but once I got it and it ended up next to the other 2 yarns in my yarn cupboard, it just looked like it just went together really well, the 3 of them together. I've been planning to knit this Doppio in these yarns for like a year, so I'm really excited to finally start. So the next yarn that I'm going to be using is from Lay Family Yarns, and this is the same base again, I think, and it is the colour Herkle Durkle, which is this soft pink with blue and kind of dark pink reddy speckles. So yeah, this is kind of, so I'll hold them up together. And then the final one is so it's that lace weight yarn, this one. So this is from Zakami Yarns, and it is on a 75% baby Suri alpaca and 25% silk lace weight yarn, and it's 420 meters in 50 grams, and the colour is called Spirit's Meat. And you can see it's got this beautiful pastel-y, let me take this label off again so you can see it in all its glory. It's got this beautiful pastel-y variegation to it. I hope that that's focusing. So, and then I'll just hold the 3 of them together. I'm just going to take all the labels off actually, just because it's a lot easier to see the colours. And then I'll hold them up so you can see them together. So you can see that one in the middle, the Sanderson Sisters, really does pop out, but it softens up lovely when they're all held together and knit together. So I have already done a swatch ready for this video, so I can show you what these look like knitted up together, and I've also blocked it so I know I get gauge. I did actually have to go down a needle size to get the right gauge, which I think is 15 centimeters and 22 rows in 10 centimeters. So I've had to go down to a 5.5 millimeter knitting needles. This is what it looks like knitted up. How beautiful is that? You can see how the two paler yarns have really softened up that colourful yarn, but the colourful yarn is just giving it just this lovely like tweedy, hazy look. So yeah, I'm just going to move the camera around and then we will start knitting. We're going to start the timer. So it took me 4 minutes and 9 seconds to cast on, and then I also double checked my stitch count. So yeah, 4 minutes for the cast on, and now I'm going to join in the round and get going with row 1. And it says I need a stitch marker, and I think I have the perfect stitch marker in my little tin of stitch markers. It was a bit of a mission to get it out, it was a bit tangled, so I'm going to use this stitch marker here, which is from my Jane Eyre advent in 2023, and it's super duper cute, and I think it will go quite well with this project. So let's restart the timer and carry on. Right, and I've successfully joined to knit in the round. That took me like a minute and a half to join in the round. That's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, round 1. So that's my first row done, all my stitch markers for my raglan increases in place, and took me 13 minutes and 20 seconds. And my nan just rang me and I need to ring her back. We're rapidly losing light, so I'm going to come back to this later this evening, so I will see you then. So I've had that quick chat with my nan and I'm ready to continue on knitting. I've got myself all nice and comfy with some cushions, I've got my feet up. I've also popped the Game of Wool episode 2 that I've been meaning to watch on catch up on the TV. It feels very fitting to be knitting whilst watching a TV programme about knitting. And yeah, I'm about to start doing the short row shaping at the back of the neck. So let's see how far I can get with that. That's how far we got up to earlier, so let's continue. Almost forgot to put the TV on. So there was me thinking this was going to be a lovely chilled knit, and I'm on row 3 and I've already learned 4 new increases that I've never done before. I've done right lifted increase, left lifted increase, the right lifted increase on the purl side and the left lifted increase on the purl side. Never done any of those increases before, so there are tutorials with the pattern, but it's just difficult to get like my head around, and my timer's on 26 minutes and I'm halfway through row 3. So yeah, this sweater might take me longer to get the hang of than I hope. We're going to continue on with the short rows, but yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update that like, this is how far I've got in 26 minutes. Oh, do you want to come say hi, darling? My Kit Kat's here as well. I don't know why she just came over. You want to come say hi? Hey, say hi. Yeah. You're a good girl, aren't you? So I'm on 1 hour, 23 minutes and 10 seconds. I've been knitting my short rows. I've got quite far with the short rows. I've only got 4 rows left with the short rows. So the short rows is where you kind of like, you add some extra rows at the back of the neck to lift the back of the neck because it will fit better. It's looking beautiful. Like, it really is. This yarn combination is beautiful, but I've made a mistake and I think I need to frog. What I should have on my needles right now is 5 stitch markers. My beginning of the round one, that one, and then I should have 4 of these little leaves. And what those little leaves are where I've got my increases at the front and the back of the arms, basically. That's how the raglan increases work. I've just knitted along and realised I'm missing a stitch marker. And the stitch markers are really important because as you do in the short rows, you're sometimes increasing and you're sometimes not increasing on the raglans. Like the short rows in this pattern are really complex compared to patterns I've done previously. It's not really what I was expecting. I've needed to have my brain switched on. I've not managed to watch any TV. I've had to like have my laptop here and like constantly like reading the next step of the row. And so because I've not had that marker there to kind of like, oh, I'm at a marker, I need to do an increase, I think I've made too many errors and I'm going to have to frog this back, and I don't know how far back I'm going to need to frog. So I'm tempted to not include the the false start in the vlog, but I am going to, because this is kind of the reality sometimes of when you're working on craft projects, is you do make mistakes, you do make silly mistakes like I have, you do have false starts and have to go back, rip it back and start again. I've had to rip back sweaters further than I've got with this. At least it's happened in the first few rows rather than like down here. Short row shaping, I'm not the best at visualizing it. I'm not, like, it doesn't feel intuitive to me, so I have to follow the instructions precisely. So that's why I feel like I need to frog it, and I can't just go back and add in those increases where I've missed them, because it's a little bit too complex for me, I think. So what I think I'll do is I'll take a break. I want to light the fire because it's blooming freezing. Yeah, take a break from knitting, and then we'll come back and we'll start again. I'll start my timer again, and we'll see how far we get.
Well renowned for having the uniform that fits like a glove.
I'm knitting with 2 strands because it's really thick.
So with 2 strands, will it feel slightly stiffer when it's on? It's going to give it that tension to make it.
So it's about 3 hours later. I've had a lovely rest and I'm ready to tackle those short rows again, and hopefully not make any mistakes this time. So let's get the timer started. And my yarn is immediately tangled. So I've just finished my short row shaping, and I'll show you my timer. So almost exactly 2 hours that took me to cast on and do my short row shaping. It's getting quite late, I'm quite tired, so I hope this makes sense, but I had made another mistake, but I fixed it. So basically, at the end of the short rows, it gave you stitch counts for how many stitches should be at the back and the front, and how many stitches should be on the 2 sleeves. And on one of my sleeves, I had 1 too many stitches, and one of my sleeves I had 1 too few stitches. Turns out I put my stitch markers in the wrong place. So I've just done a sneaky little decrease on the sleeve and an increase on the back, and now I've got the right stitch count. And I don't even care that that's going to be a mistake that's in my jumper, because I'm not knitting this again. I'm done for the night and I want to go to bed. It's currently 25 to 11. So yeah, so that is my short row shaping. That's my first day of knitting done. I'm just about to start my raglan increases. I will either do those tomorrow or at the weekend. So yeah, I will see you then. So it's day 2. Let's see how far I can get with the raglan increases today. What are you doing? She literally jumped in front of the camera. I managed so much knitting this afternoon, this evening. I managed 4 hours, 55 minutes and 15 seconds. And I'll show you how much I've done. So this is the back of it. And I've popped that stitch marker that I showed you at the beginning here. So that's round my first stitch of the day. So I've knit that much there. That's like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches. I'm quite pleased with my progress. So yeah, I will see you again tomorrow for some more knitting. So it's day 3 of this challenge. I am having a pretty bad day today. If you are new to my channel, I have some chronic health problems that cause me issues, and quite a lot of days I have to spend the day in bed to manage those health problems, and today is one of those days. So that means I might be able to get quite a lot of knitting done. I do have a bit of some Meema Makes work for a pattern release to do as well, so I need to get that done at some point today, but hopefully we can get a few hours of knitting in. Maybe I would really love it if today I could get through the raglan increases and split for sleeves. I don't know how realistic that is though, so we'll see. So it's day 5 and I just want to catch you up on what's happened on day 3 and day 4. So on day 3 I ended up with a migraine, so I couldn't actually finish filming. I didn't film like my end of day roundup like I've been doing, but I did take a screenshot of where I was up to, and it was 4 hours, 54 minutes and 55 seconds, and I had just split for sleeves. I've just finished the row where you split for sleeves. Hello darling. You want to be in this video again? You've made so many appearances in this video so far. So yeah, so I've just split for sleeves, and then on day 4 I did no knitting at all yesterday. I was too busy, I had too much to do. Like, I wasn't like out and about busy, I just had too much Meema Makes stuff to do to like schedule up for when we're going away, because we're going away today. I don't think I mentioned that yet. So yeah, so I've transferred all the stitches onto a cable and I tried it on, so I'll pop the footage in here now. I'm really happy with the fit so far. I was a little bit worried about the shoulder increases, but it actually fits really well, and I'm now onto the body. What I might do is I might knit a few rows of the body and then switch to do the collar and the 2 sleeves, because are you back, darling? Are you back? Because I just find it's better to get, once you've done the sleeves and the collar and then you finish the body, you get a better idea of how the body fits. Sorry, she's distracting me so much. Better idea of how the body fits. So I might do that. At the end of this video, I'll do a breakdown of how long each part take me. So I'll give you like the total. It took me this many hours to knit the sweater, but I spent this long on the short hair shaping, this long on the body, this long on the sleeves, etc. So you, sweetheart, you're purring right near the camera. I bet they can hear you. Not the camera, the microphone. So I'll do that breakdown at the end. Like I said, we're going away today. We're just going to like a little cabin in the woods for 4 nights, I think. So I'm taking my knitting with me. I'll take you along with me. I'll take this camera along with me, and we'll see how much knitting I can get done while we're away. I would absolutely love it. I hope if I could come back with a nearly finished sweater, I would absolutely love that, because then I can get it blocked and I can get wearing it in December, because we're at the end of November at the minute, so that would be really amazing. So yeah, I'll see whether I can get some knitting done in the car on the journey and at the cabin, and yeah, I will see you there. Good morning. It is day 6 of knitting my sweater, and it's day 2 of our last minute holiday. It's really lovely here. We have a cabin in the woods, and we spent yesterday evening in the hot tub stargazing, and I saw 2 shooting stars, and it was absolutely amazing. But unsurprisingly, because we were quite busy yesterday, I didn't get much knitting done. I knitted pretty much the whole car journey though. So I'll show you my stopwatch from yesterday. So I did 1 hour, 25 minutes and 12 seconds. And I think just over an hour of that was while I was in the car. And I'll show you how much progress I made as well. So it might be like best to show you the progress from the underarms, because the last time I spoke to you, I just like split the sleeves and we had like 1 row on the underarms. So I'd say I've probably knit just over an inch, maybe an inch and a half. In that hour and a half there. So that's the underarm and that's the body there. So I think what I'm going to do today actually is I'm going to pick up the stitches around the collar and knit the ribbed collar, because I'd really love to see how that all fits across my bust. I don't really know what we're going to be doing today on the holiday. It's supposed to be a chill holiday, so I'm hoping it's not too much, but my partner's having a lie-in, so I thought I'd get some knitting done. So yeah, I'm going to pick up the stitches, restart the timer. I've got peppermint tea and I've got some breakfast, so that's how I'm going to be spending my morning. So just looked at the instructions for the collar, and I need a crochet hook to pick up the stitches, which is a really interesting idea. It's like they've done slip stitches around the collar before the ribbing to stop it stretching out, and I've had a lot of trouble in sweaters that I've knitted in superwash yarns stretching over time, so that's a really interesting idea, and I'm tempted to go back and add like a row of slip stitches around some of my other sweaters as well, but we're going to try it. I don't know if I brought a crochet hook with me though. This is the only project I've brought with me, so I'm going to have a rummage in my little bag I've got and see if we've got a crochet hook. We found one. We found one. It's the wrong size. The pattern says 4.5 and it's a 4, but I'm just going to do it loosely and it'll be fine. And I did wind up some more yarn ready to go, so I'm just going to leave the body yarn attached to the balls for the body, and I'm just going to attach some new yarn around the top for the collar. Okay, day 6, let's go. So it's taken me 17 minutes 34 seconds to crochet all around the neckband, and now I'm going to pick up those crochet chains with my smaller needle. So we'll see how long that takes. So I've had a very chill morning knitting and I've done 2 hours, 8 minutes and 22 seconds. And I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through the collar. So we're gonna go out now and I'll catch up with you a bit later and we'll see if we can get this finished today. So I've just finished the collar and it took me 2 hours, 36 minutes and 29 seconds. So I'll show you my knitting. There's my collar. It looks quite long because it's actually, what we're going to do is we're going to fold it over and sew it down. So I'll show you it folded over. So it'll look like that once it's finished, but I didn't bring a yarn needle with me, so I can't do that right now. So I've just popped some stoppers on my cables. And I've cut my yarn and I'll just have to come back once we're home and sew that down. And then I'm going to go for a lie down because I'm not feeling very well. And then if I pick up some knitting later on today, I will go back to knitting the body. So end of day 6 and it actually looks a little bit like a sweater now. Look at that, we've got a neck. And we got 2 armholes and we got a body hole. So this actually looks like something I could wear now. I'm so excited for this. I've not had a very good couple of hours. So I've been in bed and I've done a lot of knitting. In fact, today is the day that I've done the most amount of knitting out of all of the days. It says it's a total of like over 6.5 hours. And I split it up into 2 laps. So like lap 1 was my neckband and lap 2 was what I've worked on the body. So I've done almost 4 hours. I've done 3 hours, 58 minutes and 40 seconds on the body today. And I'll show you what that looks like because I popped a stitch marker in my first stitch of the body today. So I've done that much. So that's quite a lot. I've noticed my knitting sped up quite a lot today actually, probably just getting used to the yarn and the gauge and stuff. So yeah, that's the end of day 6. I will see you tomorrow for day 7. So it's day 7 and we're actually quite late on in the day. It's currently 2:30. So we're staying at like this holiday park in the forest and they have an all-terrain mobility scooter. So we rented it for a couple of hours this morning and it was my first time going for a walk in the woods since I got sick in 2021. So like 4 years and it was so beautiful. It was -2 and frosty and we went all the way up to the top of a hill through the forest and then back down again and you could see across like the North Yorkshire moors. It was so beautiful. So I've booked the mobility scooter to rent again tomorrow. So I haven't done any knitting yet today. Well, that's what that whole story was. I haven't done any knitting yet today, but Liam's gone out for a bit, so I thought it would be a nice time to sit and do some knitting. And I'm in my hoodie because I'm freezing from being out in the cold weather. I am tempted to not knit though because like literally behind the camera now, I'll just show you, we have a hot tub. So yeah, that is, you see that? Yeah, so that's our hot tub. That's a hoist because we're in like the accessible one, so I don't need the hoist, but we have a hot tub. So I'm very tempted to just go and get in the hot tub, but I think I'm going to try and get some knitting done first. And because we're in the accessible cabin, we're right by like the main road, so I'd rather maybe get in the hot tub when it's not as light outside. But anyway, I'm going to get on with some knitting now, and I'm not going to continue on with the body today, I don't think. So when I showed you this, when I went to bed last night, I finished the collar, but I couldn't like sew it down, and I had made quite a lot of progress on the body here. But the reason why I've stopped is because I've gotten all the way through my first ball of yarn. Oh no, I've dropped a load of stitches. I'll pick them up in a minute. So I've gotten through my first balls of yarn. So I've brought more with me that I've wound. So what I'm thinking of doing is rather than continuing on with the body, I might do a sleeve. I like to do this. I like to get the sleeves done before I finish the body because it can affect the fit and things. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to pick up all the stitches for the sleeve and start that. So let's see how far I can get with that this afternoon. So the hot tub is calling me. I can't resist the call anymore. So I only managed 20 minutes of knitting and I've picked up all my stitches on my sleeve and done maybe 4 rounds. I'm just not feeling it. Some days I just don't feel like knitting. I think I'm going to go and read in the hot tub whilst the sun sets. So yeah, maybe I will see you this evening for some more knitting. I might not. We'll see. So I think I'm done knitting for the evening. I want to go and get back in the hot tub now before I go to bed. I did 1 hour, 32 minutes and 19 seconds, and I will just show you how much progress I made on the sleeve. So as previously, I've popped this stitch marker in my first stitch of the day, and that is my progress. I quite like working sleeves because they work a lot quicker than the body, so I feel like I've made more progress. Even though I've done like less knitting than I did yesterday, I feel like I've made more progress. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow for some more knitting. So it's day 8 and I'm going to continue on knitting the left sleeve. So I've done 1 hour, 33 minutes and 40 seconds today, and I've knitted this much on the left sleeve, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more knitting. So I have a confession to make. It's been like 9 or 10 days since I last filmed this vlog. I haven't done any knitting on my Doppio since the last time we spoke though, so it's not like I've not been filming myself. We got back from holiday and I crashed, and I had a pattern release, and I had a testicle to do, and I just had a bunch of stuff to do for Meema Makes, and I've just been not feeling very well, and I had some stuff going on, like events personally as well, so I've just not been able to do it. So yeah, also like I apologise for having a towel on my head. I've just got out the shower and I'm like having a rest before I finish getting ready. So today is the 7th of December, and that means that today is the day that I'm hosting a Stitchmas party. You might have seen me post about it on social media, like if you follow me anywhere, but basically me and Jess from Scaling the Stitch are hosting a knitting and crochet themed Christmas party to raise money for charity at a local restaurant, like in collaboration with a local restaurant. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be a bit of a knit and natter night there. So I'm going to take my Doppio because I think it would be the perfect project, because it's just stuck in it in the round with some decreases because I'm on a sleeve. So I think it would be the perfect project to take to the knit and natter night. So I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to show you kind of around the Stitchmas party, I guess, a little bit behind the scenes. I was going to do a dedicated vlog, but I'm not up for that. So I'll just show you a little bit of it in this vlog. And then, yeah, I'm going to take my Doppio, knit on it there, and I'll film myself knitting and nattering at the knit and natter night. I am first going to, before I go, I'm going to sew down my neckband though, because it's really annoying me because I've just got the project out and it's still flapping around on a cable because I didn't have a yarn needle on holiday. So yeah, so I'm going to sit and do that now, and I'll time myself, and then I'll time myself when I'm at knit and natter night as well. So yeah, let's get started with that task. Took a little bit longer than I expected, 32 minutes and 57 seconds, and I'm a little bit unsure about the collar. I feel like it's too short. Too short. I feel like it should be longer here. I don't know. I'm going to try it on later. I haven't got time now. I need to get ready for the Stitchmas party, so I will see you later. It's currently 1:45 in the morning and I couldn't stop knitting. I managed 4 hours, 10 seconds and 37 minutes knitting today, and I'm going to show you, obviously I'm like wearing it, but like we have finished the left sleeve and I finished off with a tubular bind off. I had to remind myself how to do it because I've not done one in so long, and I've done about 4 or 5 rows on my right sleeve. And what do we think? What do we think? I love how it fits across the shoulders. I'm not sure about the neckline. I do think it is a little bit short. I kind of wish I had like another two rows, so maybe 4 rows total, because it's folded over. Maybe like 4 rows total. I kind of wish it was a little bit more. I'm going to wait. I don't want to make that decision now because it's 1:45 in the morning and I want to go to sleep. So I'm going to go and get ready for bed, and finishing this sleeve has made me really, really motivated. So tomorrow, I don't know whether I should try and finish the other sleeve all in one day or whether that's too much pressure on myself. I'll make the decision in the morning and I will see you then. It feels so rough today, so I think I'm going to have a bed day and see how far I can get on this sleeve and just stick a couple of films on, because I don't think I'm up to much else. But yeah, hopefully that'll be lots of knitting time. So let's start the timer. So I don't even know how long it's been since I last filmed on this vlog. It's been a couple of weeks, I think. My partner's had the flu. I kind of got it as well, but not nearly as bad as he did. And it's just, everything's been a bit much. And I've been doing a lot of like Meema Makes stuff. I've been trying to get everything like scheduled so I can take a bit of time off over Christmas. So it's now the 23rd of December, so we're coming up to Christmas, and I thought I would come back because I'd really like to get this finished over Christmas. So I'll kind of show you where I'm up to. So I think the last time I filmed I was on a sleeve, and I think I finished that sleeve that day or the day after, but I didn't film it. So yeah, we have 2 finished sleeves now. I have tried this on, it does fit me, but I can't try it on for you right now because I've transferred all my body stitches back onto needles off of my cable. So what I want to do is I want to try and get the body finished over Christmas. I haven't worked on the body since I transferred it all onto cables when I went back to do the sleeves. If you remember, that was quite a while ago for me. For you, it was a few minutes. For me, it was like, I don't know, weeks ago. So yeah, so basically I'm going to work on the body now. I'm going to try and get the body done over Christmas because I'm just going to be working round and round and round in stockinette. I'm probably not going to be giving you daily updates from now on. I will probably film myself knitting on and off over the next couple of days over Christmas, and then I will catch up with you once I finish the body, and we will weave in ends and block the jumper together, or I might catch up with you sooner depending on how I'm feeling. So yeah, I'm gonna see whether we can get this body done. I'll kind of show you actually. I tried it on, it fits me really well. Now I've got sleeves in. I was really worried about the fit, and then now I've got sleeves in. I'm not so worried about the fit, but yeah, I'll kind of show you where we are. So we have 2 complete sleeves, and we've got that bit of the body that I knitted before I cast off. There is yarn everywhere, there are ends everywhere. It looks a right mess. But yeah, I'm ready to continue on with the body. Let's get knitting. So it is 11:30 at night on Christmas Day, and today I did 5 hours 56 minutes and 14 seconds of knitting and casting off because I've finished knitting. I finished it. I finished the jumper. You can see I have cast off the bottom. There's still quite a lot of ends to weave in. It still needs blocking. Because it's 11:30 at night, I want to go to bed, so I'm not going to do that now, but I'm so happy that this is finished. I timed how long it took me to cast off, and I'm a little bit surprised. It took me 1 hour 37 minutes and 21 seconds to cast off the bottom hem. I think it's because it's the tubular cast off, so it's like a sewn cast off where you go through each stitch twice. It just takes ages, especially with the suri, because the suri keeps getting like caught in itself as you're doing it, but I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's done. So yeah, I think this might be my day of the most knitting, which feels quite fitting for Christmas Day because we had a really chill Christmas Day, just me and my partner and my cat. So yeah, I'll see you on another day and we will get this jumper finished, and then I will reveal to you how many hours total this took for me to make. Oh my god, the state of my leggings. The suri in this sweater is absolutely shedding everywhere. It's just all down my black leggings. This is not the best pairing for this outfit, I don't think. I can literally see just bits of suri fluff just everywhere. So anyway, I finished my Doppio sweater, finally finished. It's blocked, ends are woven in, it's 100% finished. So it's currently March and I actually finished knitting on this on Christmas Day. So it's taken me over 2 months to get around to weaving the ends in and blocking it. I don't know why, I just had this mental block. I have chronic fatigue, so the act of blocking a sweater really takes it out of me anyway. So I think that played into it. I was kind of dreading it a little bit, if I'm honest. I probably could have just asked my partner to help me, but whatever, it's finished now. We have a finished jumper, and I can finally reveal to you how long it took me to make, and I'll give you kind of like my overview of what I liked and what I didn't like about the project as well. So I'm just going to move over to one side so I can pop this table up on the screen so you can see exactly how long each section of this sweater took me. Feel free to pause and have a look if you're interested, but in total, not including that false start at the beginning and not including the blocking time, it took me 41 hours, 16 minutes and 43 seconds. So that's about 1 week's worth of work working full-time hours. And I did some maths just because I was curious. So currently, as of March 2026, minimum wage in the UK is £12.21 per hour. So that equates to just over £500 worth of labour costs that went into making this sweater, not including yarn costs, which I don't even want to think about. So there is going to be variation in that 41 hours time frame. If you're a continental style knitter, for example, and you knit this sweater to this gauge, you might find that it takes you less time than that, because I knit English style and I'm quite a slow knitter. I have joint problems, I can't knit fast. However, if I'd have chosen to knit something that was a bit more complicated, like cables, or used small needles with a thinner yarn, for example like a fingering weight yarn on like 3.5mm needles, I know that would have taken me a lot longer to knit. But it's really interesting ballpark figure that I can knit a sweater if I want to in about 40 hours. So yeah, it is. I think it's really helpful to know that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what my thoughts are about the pattern and about the fit. So overall, I quite like the fit. I think it fits beautifully across the shoulders. I decided in the end the neckband was the right depth. I thought it was a really good depth, in fact. There's quite a lot of fabric in the armpit. I think perhaps for my size, I knitted size 4, that perhaps the yoke depth is a little bit big. It's a little bit big because then it kind of like bunches up in the armpit. But apart from that, the fit is great. The one thing I'm thinking about changing is the length of the body. This is a cropped pattern, so I think it was maybe like 11 or 12 inches from armpit to the bottom hem. And it just skims the top of my hips and it feels a little bit short for me. I much prefer jumpers to sit about halfway down my hips and not skimming the top of my hips. So I have yet leftover yarn, so I could go back and add a few more rows into the body to lengthen it. But I think I'm going to wear it a few times first and see if I find myself like pulling it down to keep me warm, and also if there's any stretch from gravity. I used superwash yarn. 2 of the 3 yarns that I used in this were superwash yarn, and that does grow and stretch with wear. I found it with my sweaters in the past that the neckband like stretches out. The jumper that I was wearing in the beginning of this vlog, for example, the neckband had all stretched out, and also the body had stretched down as well. So we'll see if that happens. I'm hoping it will grow a little bit, but not too much. But overall, I think it's a really great pattern. It's now my favourite raglan stockinette mindless knitting project, to the point that for the first time ever, I'm knitting the same knitting pattern twice. I've already knit probably about 2/3 of the way through a whole nother Doppio sweater in some completely different yarn, and I'm absolutely loving this one as well, and I can't wait to wear both of these actually, because I haven't actually worn this out yet, so I've been waiting to film this video. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I'll pop a playlist up on the screen here of some more craft vlogs if you fancy hanging out with me for a bit longer today, and if not, I will see you again for another video next Friday. Bye for now.